we at Which just thought it was absolutely ridiculous how, you know, people like you and me, everyday people who love events, whether that's music or that could be sport or any other event, are getting rinsed and quite frankly exploited by some of these ticketing platforms online. And it's so important that at Which we talk about it because it is impacting everyone. And it's not just a music issue, it is a consumer issue. And it's millions that are being fleeced out of people online for just wanting to go to the event that they want to go to. So yeah, it's really important that we speak on it, spread awareness and get the government to act.
We did an episode with Adam Webb from the Fanfare Alliance, and he was like, there's a show that's not sold out in Leeds, and the ticket was like £1,200. He just like literally went online.
Well, that's the thing called, I've actually spoken with Adam about it. It's called speculative selling, where someone will list a ticket online and then, you know, you assume the show's sold out, you'll go and buy it. But then the person who bought it off just quick goes and buys it and sells it to you for a profit. It's absolutely boggling that people are getting away with this. And these platforms know it's going on, but, you know, nothing's happening. So
how much worse is music than other areas you look at?
So it's quite unique in a way that there's not like a regulator that we can kind of march to and complain to in the way that we have recently with like insurance with the FCA. But it is impacting literally everyone who wants to go to these events. I mean, just this summer, resellers could pocket almost £24 million this summer alone. But by the government's own research, if they put price caps on, effectively meaning that tickets can only be sold at face value, fans could save £112 million annually. Like, this is no small problem. And so it's really important that, you know, we go to the government and that they can implement these things, include it in the King's Speech to make sure that it does actually happen. So yeah, we have to go directly to the government because the ticket sites, they're not doing anything. We've been having a go at them for quite a while now, and it doesn't really feel like anyone's listening.
Has there been a whole lot of action that follows those words? Yeah,
well, in the days following our first open letter that we did, it was really promising. Yeah, a few days later, the government came out saying that they were going to clamp down on it. You know, it was feeling really positive. And even Lisa Nandy kind of implied that it was going to get included in the King's Speech. So we were feeling like, yeah, you know, this is on the right track. However, recently, Ian Murray has kind of hinted perhaps it's not going to be included in the King's Speech. And the reason it's so important it's mentioned in the King's Speech is because effectively we can hold them accountable if they don't do it. It's effectively like 12 months, this is what we're going to do as government. So if they don't include it, it kind of gives the impression that, you know, they're prioritizing other things, they're backpedaling. And, you know, as I've just shown with all like the amount of money that is in this industry that could be going to these touts, it's really important. You know, they put their foot on the gas and make sure these things get implemented quickly.
What's some of the worst examples or wildest examples of ticket touting that you've come across?
So I've got my big three with me for you. So Harry Styles, which was a big one. I know everyone and their nan was trying to get tickets for him. So resellers stand to make £6.6 million from Harry Styles tickets. We found that some tickets, the face value was £200, which was already, you know, quite expensive, was being listed for £3,622. So that's 159% markup. That's our least bad of the big three, just to give it a taste. Ariana Grande, which is one that, you know, dear to my heart, I was trying to get tickets for her. Potential reprofit was £4.9 million for touts. It's not pocket change. A face value ticket of £135 was being listed for £2,835, which is a 274% increase. But the big bad one is BTS. The reprofit potential was £1.3 million. But in terms of relisting profit, we found one ticket face value £450. Again,
that's a lot.
Big amount of money.
That's not the tell price. That's
that's face value.
Face value
which
ticket.
Potentially is a question itself. But that was being listed for £4,872, which is a 312% markup. It's just ludicrous.
And the thing is, people do buy those tickets because people really want to see their favorite band. Especially, I feel like when it's a band that, or an artist that is perhaps to that person like a once in a lifetime thing. They might think, okay, well, this is my one chance to see BTS, so I'll just do it. But that money is going directly in the pocket of a bad actor.
Yeah. And sometimes they're not even based in the UK. We found through our research that it's actually, you've mentioned earlier, it's, you know, linked to organised crime. It's actually an international operation. And we found people in Dubai, in Delaware. Like Delaware, someone was selling tickets for like random like pub music events night. So it's not just these big music artists that are getting hit. It's the local events that people are selling tickets to because, you know, they're still going to make a profit there. So yeah, it's not just exclusively the big names. Everyone is getting impacted.
It seems crazy to me that I can sit back and watch a letter be handed to the Prime Minister with all the right people saying all the right things that we want to make this happen. So why isn't it happening? Well,
that's the thing. That's what's so frustrating is that, you know, we thought we were making good progress, but I think deep down we also kind of knew, don't get too excited until it's in the King's Speech, because ultimately that is what needs to happen to ensure that movement is made. And, you know, potentially there might be prioritizing other things, but you know, as we've discussed, it's so important. It's impacting everyday life, everyday people with the hard-earned cash. And in this economy, you know, not everyone's treating themselves that often. And, you know, if your favorite artist comes by, sorry to bring her up again, but Ariana Grande, like she doesn't go on tour very often, and she's explicitly said she's not going to go on tour for a while after this. You know, and if I had got a ticket, that would have been really, really exciting. So the idea that they're not taking it seriously, I think, is a mistake. And you know, they should be focusing on it.
Do you see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel with clamping down on secondary ticketing?
I like to think so. I think, you know, at which we like to think that, you know, good will prevail. What timeline that happens on is very clearly to be seen. But we like to think there is light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we've seen reforms happen in other areas. Why can't it happen here? We just have to hope that, you know, the government steps up and make sure that these ticketing companies, you know, act accordingly, and these secondary ticketing sites are acting in a fair way and aren't exploiting and rinsing their customers.
Do you not think this is like quite an open door that you're pushing on?
Feels like quite an open goal for the government to, you know, take this policy. I don't think you're going to find a single person who's going to be anti not being ripped off for their ticket. So yeah, it kind of seems like an open goal, which is why we're hoping the government will include it in the King's Speech, and not kind of U-turn on effectively and break their promise, because they have said that they're going to, you know, I think it's renew Britain and you make it more fair for everyone. This would be a good starting step.